Hello, everybody, and welcome to Organic Politics. Emily Payton's out there on the campaign trail, and we wish her lots of luck. And you people get out and support her and vote for her coming up on the election day. Today, we have a very special guest. Mr. Ron Hill is here with us, and we're going to be talking about the continuum. I would like for everybody out there to understand the reason why this show is called The Continuum is because Sharonda has been on our show before, and she's been on our show with just her hands because of the situation that was going on at her living situation in Springfield, Vermont. And The Continuum is about moving forward despite the odds of oppression and what seems to be going on out there in a political background towards people of poverty and of color. And today specifically, we'd like to talk about what has recently happened with Sharonda at her last employment. A little bit of a background to come back up to so you understand what's been going on before now. Sharon, would you like to tell us a little of your story of how you came to be here in Vermont? How did you arrive here?
Well, 2003, I moved here with my children. I moved here with my 4 children and 20 bags of clothes. And we came here to stay with my niece, but we wound up leaving there and we stayed with a friend for a couple of nights, but she took us to the Women's Crisis Center, where they helped me with a lot of programs. And
that's in Brattleboro, Vermont, the Women's Crisis Center?
Yes, I landed in Brattleboro, Vermont.
Excellent.
And they helped me find a lot of programs. They gave me shelter for me and for all 4 of my children.
How old were your children at this time with the 20 bags of laundry?
I would say 8, 9, 10, and 14.
Wow. Wow. And you?
And me.
And you're
$488.
You know, that is a lot to some that have nothing, but with that many children and moving to a new state, you must have been scared to death.
I was.
Yeah.
But I made it through it. Me and my kids.
And the reason why you ended up at the crisis center was because of the living situation that you had left in New Jersey?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and it wasn't a really good situation.
And your kids were in danger?
Yeah, we lived in a pretty much a gang-infested area.
You mind if I say what town?
Go ahead.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yes, lots and lots of crime. But I didn't want my kids to grow up that way. I didn't want my kids to have to be a part of that and not knowing if they're going to live a full life, which you don't know that anyway. But
right.
It was a greater chance.
Of them not having a life at all.
Or even continue college or high school or anything. But after I got to the Women's Crisis Center,
mm-hmm.
I left there because my kid's father found out where I was. So they put me in a safer place.
Right.
And I stayed there for months. And then I moved every 28 days for about 5 months. Every 28 days I had to move me, my kids, and all the clothes.
To keep you safe.
Yes. And I finally got into a really nice hotel, what they helped me pay for, which I paid some rent, but they helped me. And we lived in a Quality Inn. They put us in a suite.
Wow.
And then it was nice. Me and my kids had like a little pool area. They had little activities and everything.
This is still Brattleboro, Vermont.
Vermont.
Right. Okay.
And then after a while, I left there and I wound up staying with a friend because I was looking for a place in the area, and that didn't work out too good. Then I wound up in Springfield, And I stayed with my nephew for a while. Then I wound up living with my sister for a few weeks, or maybe a month or so. And then we had our own apartment. And once we got our own apartment, we was able to relax a little bit because moving 6 months every 28 days is a lot.
It's a lot on anybody moving at all. And to do that often and to have children in tow, Vermont really makes a difference in welcoming you here and allowing you to stand on your feet, does
Yes,
it not?
yes, it did. And if we want to bypass some of that, we got to Vermont, to Springfield. My son,
Yes,
all my kids was registered to go to school.
yes.
And my son Ricky, he went and got a job, but he could help us. And
That's
he was
your oldest son?
He was 14 at the time. So he helped me pay bills,
Wow.
and he helped take care of his brothers and sisters.
Oh,
And he still
excellent.
continued to this day.
And that was so many years ago now. It's my understanding that your children are in college, your youngest.
All of them graduated high school, every last one of them.
Excellent.
All of them have some college education.
Excellent.
And I have two in college full time in Vermont. One is in Vermont Tech, and my daughter is in Linden State. And I have another son that's continued, just got accepted to a college in New York.
And
And
he's studying to be a parole officer
oh
or
yes,
something
yes,
like
he's
that.
going into law.
And trying to help those who are a little less fortunate and
Yes,
that he's seen a different level of things. The conditioning that happens in your life and your children pick up, it's beautiful that you've taught them not to accept the punishments of other people and the oppression, and to walk forward into the avenues of help that is available in our communities in Vermont, and to say no abuse. I'm worth it. I'm going to educate. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to eat good and have a place to sleep because I'm a good American citizen.
absolutely.
And Vermont has opened the doors for that.
Yes, it did. Right now, my daughter is in college, and VSAC is helping her. And she has a brother that helped her a lot. And he helps my oldest son, he works hard.
The one
very
that got a job at 14?
Yes, he
Okay.
still works. He's been working ever since.
How old is he now?
He's 25,
Oh, my.
and he works very hard. He moved out. He moved out of our house about 5 years ago. He's been in the same apartment for 5 years in Chester. He's a very hardworking young
And
man.
you're talking about this boy grew up with moving every 28 days after he left. You left a good house. You left a place with the ability to have anything for your children. You left all of that because of an abusive lifestyle.
Yes, and a bad, abusive lifestyle.
And that's enough on that.
A lot more other things, but
Like I said, that's enough on
yeah.
that. The details
And the
don't
crimes
matter.
was really bad. It was horrible. My kids seen so many people get killed and murdered, or just saw somebody laying on the ground just come home from school.
Right.
And that was like a lot. So I didn't want that for them. I didn't want them to, who wanted to see that every day?
Right.
So when we got to Vermont, I didn't know it was a place like this.
You thought it was a fairy tale land.
I didn't know it was something so beautiful. I really didn't. I didn't know that the place had all these trees and smell really good, and you don't hear ambulance every night in cop cars. I didn't know.
Yeah.
When we got here the first few months, we couldn't sleep.
Because it was so
It
quiet.
was too quiet. We was like, why can't we sleep? Turn the TV on. It's too quiet. We don't hear anything at night. So it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I'll recommend anybody that want to come here and do right to come to Vermont.
And not to stay in your abuse. And like I said, this show is called The Continuum. Because in order to stay a good human being for yourself, your community, you have to love yourself first and not allow abuse to come to you.
Yeah,
And when you're a mother of those children, they're all looking at you.
absolutely.
They're all waiting to see what mama's going to do. Is mama going to let this happen?
Nope, not
You
no
know?
more. And I
And-
didn't want it to happen to my children or them to be abusers or accept abuse. I have a daughter too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wasn't going to let that happen to her or them. I wanted them to be really loving, caring men. And so far, I got some really good kids. Not to pat myself on the shoulder, but I really do.
I've been a part of this, and it's been really nice to do it. The reason why the continuum keeps working is because of your passion for your life, Sharon Hill, and for your passion towards, I'm not going to take it anymore. And that's for your children, your grandchild, and that's for your friends. And I happen to be one of Sharon's friends, and I'm very grateful for that. And I happen to have gone to Newark, New Jersey, and wow,
It's
I would
different.
not want to raise small children in that area, and to be able to let them flourish and have a life, and to know that it's okay to accept help if you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay to go from materialism things, because that's why a lot of people stay in a bad relationship, is because, oh, my kids, what are they going to do? They got their clothes, they got this, they got their material
They
stuff.
have their own room.
But they're learning by the role model
Absolutely.
to allow the abuse, and that there's a cost to be able to have a decent home, and to share with them that no, there's no cost. It's go to work, pay the rent, and that's your home, and love it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you rent it,
That's right.
love it, because that's where you're standing.
Yeah, well, we lived in another place before where we at now. We moved last year. And I lived there. I'm not going to say I loved it, but I lived there.
Right.
And I learned a lot of stuff there.
Tolerance.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. But you know what? What don't kill you definitely make you stronger. That place made me a stronger person.
It did. And now that you've moved from there, you live in your own house.
Mm-hmm.
You have a yard.
Yes, in the backyard for my grandbaby, which I have a little granddaughter named Maya.
Yeah.
And yes, she has her own little yard.
And you have rooms for your children to come home from school to.
Yes, and great neighbors. No one look at me like I have a third eye. And
you have community.
yes, community.
Right.
I lived in a community which was called a community, but it wasn't a community.
Right.
But where we live at now is beautiful, and the people are really beautiful.
And
everywhere.
welcoming to you.
Very. I haven't had a problem with not one neighbor.
Yeah. When you get in a vein of really decent people, you feel it and you ride with that. But if
Yes.
you've never experienced it, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it takes a community to raise a child, and you and I and her, we are the community. And so we're responsible for our neighbors. And in that responsibility, I heard that you were illegally fired from your job after years of doing things. I never seen a person happier to go to work than this lady here. And can you tell us a little bit about the story of the Springfield Hospital? Can you tell us the beginning?
The Springfield Voc Rehab.
Voc Rehab, yes.
I applied for an ad online, which I downloaded the job thing search app for myself. And I saw it, and it says that it was hiring in the area. So I filled out the application. I called almost every single day. And I heard something really good over the phone. Come in and let us interview you today. And when I went there, I got the job. And I loved my job. I loved working with the people. It was really, well, it was a few people, but I loved the job. I loved working with the people upstairs, the elderly. I had some really good nurse friends. It was a nice job. It was a nice job because due to a new supervisor that came in. He came in and he wasn't like the best person, and he took sides with other people, and I just wasn't one of his people, I guess. So I got really sick one day. But as soon as I started working, I started having problems, But I went to work every day, no matter how much I was hurting, whatever. I went to work. And
that's pretty amazing, knowing that you used to have trouble just going out of your house when I first met you.
Yeah.
I think it was 6 years since you had been out and did anything when I first met you.
Probably something like that.
Out of fear of things.
Too much stress.
Things that have happened
Yeah.
leaves a residue on you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, joining the community, and not just having your children go flourish,
Yeah.
but being an example to your children all the time. Because they're looking.
Yes.
Whether you know it or not, they're looking to see
Yes,
what
yes.
mama does.
and I'm trying to make them proud.
Yeah, and in that today, you're trying to talk about a sensitive subject around a place that you really enjoyed working at.
Yes, it was a really well. I love going to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few residents there that I really, really cared about, um, which I no longer can see. Um,
What created your being let go of this position?
well, on the 9th of July, I was no, on the 8th of July, my feet and my ankles had swelled up really, really bad. But I went to work, and on the 10th, I went to see my doctor, and he asked me to come back in the next day. So I went in the next day, and I was still swollen really bad, like my feet and everything. Even my hands were swollen, and I have problem with my finger now and my thumb. And he said, "Well, I need you to stay home for a while." And my pressure was really high.
Your blood pressure.
Yes, and so he said, "We need to get that down, and you need to elevate your feet to get the swelling down, and take my medication." And I did that. And I called my boss on my way from the doctors to let him know what was going on, and he got really upset with me and was like, before I could explain to him, like, I'm not doing well, this is going on, he hung up on me. Before I could even tell him, he gave me a 4-day pass, which I still have. I cannot come to work in the condition that I am in, especially the conditions I worked under, because they never turned the AC on or anything. I was standing in like 120 degrees for hours.
In the kitchen.
No, up in the when I was they turned me into a dietary aid,
All right.
and I had to go upstairs with this little thing smaller than this, pretty much, this little area you stand in, and it was really, really hot because they had steam tables there, and they don't turn the AC on because of the senior citizens there,
Right.
the residents.
Right.
They get cold. So I was standing there for hours and hours and hours, and that heat made my body
React.
Yeah,
And so the doctors told you what to do, and by
Yeah.
following your doctor's orders, you were relieved from your job?
absolutely. And he didn't tell me that he fired me. He told all the other coworkers. One of my coworkers came to my house, and she's like, "Oh, you know you lost your job, right?" And I said, "No, what do you mean?" She's like, "Oh yeah, Jim said he fired you, and he told everybody that." But I said, "He never called me and told me that." So I called him, like on the 12th or the 13th, and he's like, "Oh no, you don't have a job here anymore." And then he said some other things. I said, "Well, a lot of things you did there was wrong." He's like, well, go ahead. What are you going to do with that? So what? I don't care what I did. He said, "If you decide to say anything, no one's going to believe you because you haven't worked in 10 years."
I see. So
And
he
hung up on me.
minimalized your stepping up
Mhm,
and
mhm.
being a part of something that's real and honest. And he didn't care about your doctors.
No, he never did care. If anybody else would get sick, he would send them home, but not me.
So there seems to be a problem in more ways than one with our medical care system. And it's not just the people who are treated wrongly. It is also the people who are trying to administer the help, who are also under the punishment of people who are making the rules. I have a personal issue with home health providers. My mother is one for the state of Tennessee, in the state of Tennessee, not for. It's a private owned business. She will not tell me who it is. And they also tell her, "I don't care if the doctor says don't do this or not, you will be fired if you don't come to work." And my mother is 75 years old and worked 80 hours last week.
That's
And she's scared to lose her job. Where else would she be able to work and pay for the food? And my mother's not extravagant. She wants some food in the refrigerator for her grandkids and herself, and to be able to pay her property taxes from a land that has been in my family for 110 years, something like that. And each time it's inherited, it's always like a cost to whoever gets it.
yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. You understand? Trying to have a home, trying to provide, trying to stay decent. And so when you're trying to feed your refrigerator, take care of your children, Manifest your decency as a human being. When people come at you with these situations of flexing at you in order to make you come to work despite your own health, most people buck and go do it. My mother's scared to death. I ain't that beaten down myself. I'm blessed enough to know better. And she knows not to tell me the name of the company she works for because I have a big mouth. As you can see, I'd love to tell everybody about it, and we'll change it. If you have a situation such as Sharon's and been wrongfully fired for your job, don't take it laying down and just quit. Go look for another job.
That's what I've been doing every day.
Go do something else. Don't let them people lead you around and tell you anything.
Well, I've been looking for a job every day. I just filled out 2 more applications yesterday.
That's right.
I'm going to get another job.
And that's why it's the continuum. Now that you're able and you could get up a little bit, it feels so good. It gives life a richness when you go out and you can give yourself to someone else and be able to put something in the refrigerator instead of waiting for the first to come, which is always depressing to anyone who gets that check. If you've never been on this other side of it and they tell you you have $200 for the month for your food and your house, your car, and your teeth, your whatever you do, it's such a minimal way to survive that you have to maintain your mind. And in your mind, you go do things for free. Not just your mind. You get out there and you get involved. You go see what's happening, such as with Sharon here. And you talk to your neighbors about the injustices. I'm afraid to talk about what she said because there's criminal activities going on that created this for you.
Absolutely, but
that's a cancellation. That's not it at all. I ain't touching on that. This is organic politics, and we're just trying to tell you, get up there, make a difference. I don't care how many foots gets on you. Don't let them foots get on you and take you out. Remember that you're a gift. Remember to get up and rise up despite it and tell the truth about it. Talk about it. You know?
Yeah.
Talk about it. And I'm so grateful you came in here to talk about it.
Well, thank you, Kathleen.
You know? It matters. I can't get your job back. No, I can't change what they did.
I really don't want that job back.
Right.
But I will find another job. I'm very hopeful with that. I know I will. And
you've got legal aid working with you for workman's comp, so because you were illegally fired. Have you gotten any checks since you've been fired?
No.
Nothing.
No.
I see. And is there something that we could do to help you to do that? I mean, is there somebody we need to talk to? What do we do here? You guys, everybody's in the same situation. It's like Enron. It's the big guys can't do anything wrong. And they're like, oh, what are you going to do? And because that's the rampantness of our country right now. And my friend Emily Payton is going to do her best in our state to go through those loopholes and call a spade and say, hey, these people here matter, all of them. Not just the ones who have the ability to have a property and a house and, get tax loopholes, but the ones who actually pay the taxes all the time and get out there and get involved. Is there something else you'd like to add to our story today about the continuum and what makes you continue?
Well, I have a 4-year-old granddaughter named Maya. That is my world. And I want her to see that grandma is very strong, and whatever I can do, she can do. I don't want her to feel like, oh, I'm going to give up. Because giving up is not the answer. You can't do it, especially when you have 4 kids and a grandbaby. So
oppression's going to come. Oppression is going to come. Oppression is going to come. It's always happened. It happens in big business. It happens in local small business. Meanwhile, you one good friend, a place to tell the truth, good family, good morals and ethics equals a good life in the state of Vermont. And
I try to raise my kids on all good things. and respect and honor and morals. I definitely did give that to them. And if you ever get Ricky up here, you'll see that with Ricky, Dalvin, Darius, and Asia,
There you go.
and even Maya.
Thank you so much. You've been watching Organic Politics, and Emily is away right now. Like I said, on the campaign trail. Go see her, listen to her speak, Google her, emilypayton.com, and see where she's at and join us. And we thank you for being with us today. You guys, go make it happen. Be love.